You ever done anything else like this? Like odd pairings of interviews, but not that they're odd. They're both 49ers.
Right.
But, right? Totally different eras, totally different positions. I never would have been like, let's get Alex Smith and Ronnie Lott on at the same time.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I'd have to really rack my brain to think about an odd pairing like that. And the way this one happens is so organic and perfect. And it's Ronnie Lott. It's like, yeah, no, Ronnie, can you hold on? We're talking to Alex. Cool your heels there, 42. No.
No, and they were connected in ways that we didn't even realize. So this is a far-ranging conversation. Fascinating. Pay very, very close attention to what happens when player safety comes up because it will raise your eyebrows for sure. So again, from the Dwight Clark Legacy Series last night in San Jose, here is our conversation with Alex Smith that then turned in to Alex Smith and eventually Ronnie Lott. Alex sat down and we just hopped right to it. Hello, Alex Smith.
What's up?
Looking
What's up,
good, man.
Dude,
You're looking good.
too good.
I clean up all right.
You
it's
do.
Fine. It's like nice to have a reason to wear a jacket every now
Seriously.
and then.
We all got dressed up.
Yeah.
I got to put dress pants on.
Like retirement. It's just nothing but hoodies,
Dude.
right?
Exactly. No. It's driving carpool.
I was going to say, according to the commercials that we're now seeing on my television, soft toss football with the kids and some table tennis and the rest of it. Retirement's treating you pretty well, Alex, from where I could see it.
I mean, I still feel like I'm trying to figure it out. It's just constantly changing, and it's so weird. That word even freaks me out. Retirement, right?
You're retired.
I just had my 40th birthday, and my oldest son, just became a teenager. Just turned 13. That one actually kind of hit me a little harder.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, listen, I'm not sitting around doing nothing. I couldn't do that, but certainly enjoying my time being a dad and having the flexibility to be there, be around, and take part in all that stuff while I figure out the rest.
I'm sorry for this cliched thing that I'm about to say, but
yeah, what's up?
Dude, you don't even limp. You just walk in here like nothing happened.
Yeah. It's been a few years now. It's funny. You get better at compensating. It's funny. And then, listen, I was watching this morning, watching Tiger play, and his right leg, my right leg, and to see him walk the course, and his was obviously more recent than mine, but it did make me think of that exact same thing. Like, you get better at it, right? Your body gets better at compensating. I used to have to wear a brace to do everything. Even just to walk in a room, I'd have to have a brace on, and now I don't. Certainly when I try to do things more athletic, I still got to put one on, but I get around pretty good now, and lucky, pain-free, which is amazing. I never thought I'd say those words.
That's awesome.
So yeah, very lucky.
Yeah, surgical miracle is basically what it was, and we're getting Ronnie Lott now to sit down. Legend joining legend. It doesn't get much better than that.
Does it scare a quarterback still to sit next to sit next to this man?
Yes, it does.
It's a little intimidating.
Even when I was playing, Ronnie would come talk to us, and hell yeah, it's intimidating. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Jeez.
I'm like, you know what's great? This is when quarterbacks lie. And the reason they lie is because he threw way too many touchdowns. Way too many touchdowns on a lot of people. And was never afraid. That's what the
different rules.
And you know what? I'm going to say this. The greatness is when you know that you met somebody that has dealt what he's dealt with. That's greatness. Greatness is when your heart is wounded and no one is there to help you. And that dude right here, every day. So the greatness of people sometimes it's you don't even see it. And you don't see it and you don't recognize it until a moment happens. And then you fight.
Yep. It's like the same thing being a parent now sometimes. You always want the best for your kids, and sometimes they need to struggle, right? And we're always trying to get them out, make things easy for them, and sometimes that's not what they need. And certainly, listen, when I was going through it, I never thought I'd be here. And so, again, I count myself so lucky. But, yeah, it's funny. Being on the other side of it now, you look back on it with a different perspective.
How important was it for you to just make it back and go out on your own terms? Because I know myself, Ronnie, watching you come back,
I was like, I didn't want it because I was so afraid for, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Well,
And the reason I can't say it, I can't say that is that, you know, I have people that, oh, you hurt your pinky. I'm like, I'm like, when I saw the, and the question is whether it's this or that, you still have to show up.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, all the guys that I know at Camp Pendleton that are learning this, because a lot of them have never had to live with this, they're learning. That's why and by the way, they'll eventually fight for us. Eventually they'll protect us. And so, man, when people talk about what we've done, I'm like, come on, man. There's some people out there right now. And he trained with him. He came. He went.
Changed my life.
Changed my life. When I heard that he went to go train, so this dude is really. That's a bad dude.
Changed my life.
Wait, tell us about that. It changed your life.
Oh yeah, I was stuck in a wheelchair, and prognosis wasn't good. They were still talking about cutting off my leg, and I got what was called the Secretary of Defense designation, which means as a civilian, I got deemed to have what's called a warlike injury. So I got access to military medical care, and so I got to go down to the Center for the Intrepid, the name of the center down in San Antonio, where no matter what branch of the military you're in, if you have a severe limb injury, this is where you go to do your rehab.
Wow.
And so one of the cool things about this place is, you know, the military, they believe in this thing called group suck. You know, so you do your rehab out all together. It's one big open room, right? Okay. Ronnie and I right next to each other. You know, most other clinical settings, you go into a back room by yourself with the PT. It's very private. Then you leave, like not there. And again, I couldn't even stand on my leg. I was ashamed of it. I wouldn't unwrap it. I didn't even want to look at it. So I kept it covered. It was grotesque. Man, I went down there. I mean, there were servicemen and women, double amputees. I mean, horrible burns. A lot of them with injuries way worse than mine, and man, scars out in the open, and they were moving forward with their life. And again, I felt like I was stuck in the rearview mirror, thinking the best of my life was over, right? And I just couldn't get out all these things I'll never be able to do again, right? Like I'll never be able, you name it, football being one of them, but chasing my kids, going for a walk with my wife, like it's done, it'll never happen. And I was just stuck in this like pity party, right? Like why me? And you get down there. And again, you don't even feel like you belong. Like these are literally servicemen and women who have sacrificed life and limb, and they are charging forward. And it was, I mean, like that example, being next to that, being in proximity of that, it was the first place I ever said out loud that I wanted to try and play football again. Wow. And so like that, I mean that.
So think about. I walked over here, and I'm supposedly this tough guy. He just told a story. That just said, Ronnie, have you done that? And my point to you is that it's all what God put you on this earth to do.
Yeah.
Are you willing to go to the dark side though? You know, and that to me, I revel at those kind of moments because my dad served this country. And every day that he served this country, he'll tell you, it's one of the greatest things he's ever done. A general said, hey, where do you want to go? My dad said, I want to go to California. That general, I had a chance to meet him. I took him to a Super Bowl one time. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, wow. Because of stories of like what he just pointed out. And that's what these guys are all about. Because they do the things that you don't think that you can do. They do the things that you don't think you can do, and they do them for the right reasons all the time.
We are having a moment right now. What a unique conversation. Ronnie Lott and Alex Smith with us here on Willard and Dibs 95.7 The Game. We're live at the Dwight Clark Legacy Series at the California Theater in San Jose. The 49ers event benefiting the Golden Heart Fund, which is 49ers helping former 49ers and the post-NFL career. What's really struck me, guys, in talking to some of you, not just tonight, but in recent days, is when you talk about this event and being out here amongst your brethren, it is very evident the emotion that you immediately feel for these surroundings. Ronnie, how would you describe that? What you feel when you're here?
Well, first of all, you got to feel Dwight. I mean, I can tell you right now, I can feel Dwight like it was yesterday, like it was us hanging at the beach in his last days. And the reason I can feel him is that I just know that deep in his soul, whenever he made the catch, whatever he did, however he practiced, all the things he did, man, he had all the type of same ingredients because he wanted it. And that want, again, I'm like sitting here trying to figure out how to get it. I'm always trying to figure out how to get it. And so here you got two guys that literally had those kind of examples of being able to show people and really teach people a lot about the quality of who they were and who they are. And I think what's great is Dwight, and I used to say this to him, man, hey, you're one of the best of all time. And the reason you're one of the best of all time because you don't take a day off. I mean, that dude used to be out. I mean, I'm trying to cover him, and I'm like, man, you herking, jerking, going back and forth. I'm like, this, you're not LeBron James. You going back, windshield back and forth. And my point to you is that. But he worked at it because that was the only way he could get open. And so we had a lot of. I mean, what I love in my life, I have a lot of friends like these guys that continue to teach me to be humble and continue to teach me that there are things that you need to be able to understand about living. And I hope that everybody that really understands what this event is about, it's not about dying. It's about living. And that's what Dwight did. He lived, and for all the years that he lived, he gave everything. Everything.
Amen, Ron. That's well said. And I just want to say how great it is for us to be here and to have you guys both here and all the 49ers, because this is the thing I think that permeates all the way through the organization, to the fans, and to the young players. And it's the legacy that he left, and it's the one that you guys helped to carry on. So on behalf of the faithful, thank you guys for still making this brand as great as it was when you played, Ronnie, and certainly carried forward when you played, Alex.
Yeah, there's no other organization that's doing this. No other place. And it's in Ronnie saying it, like, certainly it started with a spark from Dwight, but these guys launched this. And most other places, guys scatter, right? You retire, guys go home or wherever they settle down, and you're left to your own to try to figure out post-football life. And so lucky to be here and part of this organization that has the greatest alumni in the NFL. Guys like Ronnie, guys like Steve, guys like Harris, guys like Dwight. They're like, because mentorship, right? Like there's not many people that have walked these shoes that have had to figure out. Certainly they put on the pads for a long time, and then they had to hang them up, right, and figure out what's next. And there's amazing role models here. And so for me to be able to be around these guys, and then again, what this Golden Heart Fund is all about, right? Like we all have our own past. Some guys are struggling, right, and need help, and there's nothing out there. Again, no other team has something like this,
right?
And so to be a part of it, to help out, some guys that certainly, don the jersey with us, and we're lucky enough too that may not be doing so well right now, or may need a helping hand. So again, and obviously awesome to have the mentorship and camaraderie.
Ronnie Lott and Alex Smith here with us. Before you guys go, I think a relevant question to everything that you're celebrating and the work that you're doing tonight. Even since the two of you have left the game, I think the concept of player safety and what it takes to stay out on the field, right? Wednesday night football is now coming here on Christmas this year. What are your thoughts? I would love to hear from both of you with regard to what it takes now for players to stay healthy, and where is this subject matter going in the years to come?
First of all, man, I'm on the safety committee, so I have a huge responsibility, and the responsibility is John Madden. And John Madden literally said one day, "Hey, look, we got to do something." So nobody knows that story, but John Madden literally said, "I'm putting together a safety committee. I'm putting together all this, and the reason why is because I know that there's something bigger than me." And so here's John literally getting all of us together and saying, we're going to do this because we're going to look at all the things. We're going to look at every rule. We're going to look at the turf. We're going to look at everything. And we're going to, after each year, we're going to look and we're going to examine all the issues. So a lot of the issues that you see that have been changed, that's because of John Madden. I mean, I like Roger. Great guy. But John Madden was like schooling him and teaching him and coaching him and helping him and getting him to see that we gotta fix the game. We gotta make the game better. And so when you think about offensive linemen, they're doing a lot to try to figure out how not to have an offensive lineman get hit from behind. Because if you get hit from behind, like some of the guys that I know that hit you from behind, it hurts and it can damage you. And my point is that John was that kind of guy. And so he looked at every situation and said, I'm going to look at every aspect of the game to make it better. And that to me, part of the golden heart and part of a lot of the things that I feel like I've been around is due to a guy like John Madden. And because John valued the game, I mean, he literally made the game to a point where you had to laugh. Right. You had to laugh at some of this stuff. And he was great at making you laugh, but he was also great at trying to teach everybody to be safe and to understand how that impacts your life.
I think the perception is out there right now under Roger, though, in the public that player safety is not a high enough priority.
I disagree. I disagree with that narrative.
Great.
I think Roger. Listen, there's been so many. Think about the rule changes in the last 5 years. The things that have been implemented. Kickoff change. Like there's been all these. Another one coming in this year with the kickoff change. Obviously, no positions received more protection than what I played. The quarterback over the last couple decades. Is it perfect? No. But it's a process, and I think what Ronnie's talking about is to have this kind of committee in place that. You're constantly in pursuit of that, right? We've seen helmets get better. A lot of the protection and rules, things changing about it. Roger's also done a great job, though. The pie's gotten a lot bigger under Roger, right?
Yeah,
and we all like that too as players. So,
but what I mean, think about in practice. Think about in practice. I would love to have had a cone
at the school
over my head. and the point, there are things that we can't imagine that they're doing today. I mean, so when I think about, the idea of trying to figure out ways to keep people on the field, the only way you can keep people on the field is you got to look at the ways that they got hurt and the ways that they've hurt themselves and the ways that they haven't done certain things in the off season. So there are a lot of things that I think he's trying to figure out. And the idea for him is like, the better I can make this game, the better it's going to be for all of us. And to me, that's a I'm grateful that Roger takes that attitude, because I know what it was like to watch Dick Butkus. I know what it was like to watch Jim Brown. And I remember coming in the league and meeting those guys. And I can tell you right now, they would say, hey, man, it was a war. It was a war. And so when you talk about today, him saying what he just said about Roger, you guys are very lucky that he expressed it the way he expressed it, because to me, a lot of those guys will tell you that, hey, this game is way different than way different than, lining up and a guy has some quarters taped on his hand.
Sometimes I watch those old films and you watch him play, it's like, oh my God, there were 7 things that's a penalty.
Right.
That's a penalty. He's ejected.
So this is, and just knowing what he went through, nobody wants that.
Yeah. Right.
Nobody wants that.
We saw it this year too, the hip drop tackle, right? Yep. Another change. Right. So they're constantly it's on their mind, but they're trying. It's all a balance, right? We want to keep the game we love. We love it, and I love playing it because of the physicality, right? And anybody who sasays the opposite's lying. There was part of me that was drawn to that, even as a quarterback. But you also, you want to, you want to age well, right? The rest of your life, you don't want to sacrifice some of those things. So
it's one thing to hear those things from former players. It's another thing to hear it from Ronnie Lott and Alex Smith, man. You guys, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for the work that you're doing tonight. Yeah, great to see you both. Thanks, Ronnie. Alex, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Ronnie, good to see you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Beautiful stuff. There it is. Ronnie Lott and Alex Smith. And I don't know about the rest of you. There's so much in there. Ronnie Lott bringing up John Madden as being basically the godfather of player safety, just for even thinking about it. And then them almost like in a defensive sort of way of the league, talking about all of the things that have been done from Ronnie Lott's day to Alex's day to now with regard to player safety. We spent a lot of time sitting here going, Thursday night football and the Jets turf.
Right.
What this league is doing is unconscionable. And a guy who had to go to military level wartime recovery in Texas is the one who stands up and goes, no. That's not accurate.
I wholeheartly disagree.
That is not accurate. This league continues to do so much to protect us. Dibs, I was shocked.
Yeah, I was surprised, and they both, were firm in their rebuke, and the things that they were citing are real. The hip drop tackle and the horse collar and the kickoff changes. Yet again, this year the kickoff is going to look different than it's ever looked before, and it's all in the interest of player safety. They're slowing down the kicking team and the returning team so the collisions won't be as high speed. And so, they are taking measures. And even the softy helmet that Ronnie was joking about, man, I'd love to wear a cone out there. And now players, I don't know if any of them are actually going to do it, but you're now allowed to wear that soft covering on your helmet, which is supposed to reduce the possibility of concussion.
I can't imagine that anyone's going to do it. No one's going to do it, right?
Maybe.
They got to feel like there's a competitive disadvantage on some level. Carrying around a big old dome on your head.
An extra half a pound? I think it's more for, getting ridiculed and made fun of. Maybe. Would be more of a deterrent, but.
Maybe, but that sort of feels like maybe someday it'll be commonplace.
Right.
If it's there now as a possibility.
Yeah, and you remember players used to have the neck roll.
Yep.
My old buddy Lorenzo Neal would wear the neck roll, and that was, some piece of equipment that people would use.
That's how you knew somebody was tough. Nobody who wasn't a battering ram wore the neck roll.
No punter in the neck roll.
No, it was fullbacks and linebackers. That's it. It
seems crazy that punters and kickers would have the single bar, and even quarterbacks. Like you look at Joe Theismann, early Theismann, he's got a single bar. You kidding me? Deacon Jones with a roll of quarters, and you're going single bar.
Look at that.